Hello everybody, Diana here at Build A Quilt. Welcome in today. This video, of course, you see as we go across the bottom of the screen, home of Build A Quilt, Patchwork in the Hoop. Let me just take that down. There we go. Because today's video is all about our 2024 Quilt Along and prepping for it. So we talked about this some on Wednesday night at our Wednesday night workshop live. And there were a few questions about fabrics and stuff. We're going to go over all of that today. We're going to go over, I've chosen 2 fabric collections and coordinated them. I'm going to show you those. I'm going to show you how you can get a copy of the fabric information sheet. This tells you what you need and how much of each one you want to get when you purchase your fabric. Or when you shop your own stash, which is always a good thing to do. Excuse me, I've got really bad allergies and my nose is running like a sieve today. I apologize. And so we're going to go over that. And then there's 2 short video clips attached to this that just run right into it that talk about some fabric scenarios, which we'll talk about here in a moment. So let's first, today is all about prep. We will begin our quilt along on November. I'm going to put it up here on the scenario for you on November 13th, 2024. There you go. That's the date that we're going to start. The Quilt Along will run on Wednesday evenings during Wednesday Workshop Live. In the pattern that you'll be able to get, probably, well, no, I'll say it this way. It will be out by Sunday. It's pretty much done now. I just have to write up a couple little things to post it. And so it's likely it could be out tonight or tomorrow, but it will definitely be on the website available on Sunday. And there will be 2 forms of it, so you'll have to look. If you are a Quilt Lab subscriber, you already own all of the blocks that we're going to use, and I'm going to go over those in a moment. You already have all of them, and we'll be using the 10 by 10 block size from our Quilt Lab blocks, because that's what the Quilt Along is all about. Blocks that we've done through Quilt Lab this year, I've taken 5 of them and created this quilt for us. So you will look for the free download, which is only written materials, okay? Because you have already purchased all your blocks, all of that. If you are not a Quilt Lab subscriber, you will look for the pattern set that says full pattern and digital files. That's everything. You get the blocks, the digital files, which within those digital files, you'll get all the written materials for those blocks. You'll get the how-to videos for those blocks. All of that comes with each block. And then you will also get the fully written materials for the Quilt Along, okay? I will tell you this. The one thing that will not be in the pattern yet is the final layout scenario and the backing information. That will come on the 5th week of the Quilt Along, and then that will be a free download for everybody. Once the Quilt Along is completely finished, then I will take and combine that information in with the 2 packets of information, the full quilt pattern and digital files, and then the one for the Quilt Lab subscribers. So Quilt Lab subscribers, you will be able to download your version of the pattern in the Quilt Lab subscriber only area, member area of the website, okay? Everybody else, the full pattern is going to be on the website itself in our regular shop. All right, so I hope that's clear. We will start again on November 13th. That's a Wednesday night. So Wednesday night workshop is when we're going to be doing this Quilt Along. but it's not going to go 5 weeks in a row because we have a holiday called Thanksgiving in there for all of us that live in the US. So that will be kind of, what do they call it in football? A bye week. That's a week we won't meet and do the quilt along. But in the pattern, there is a date listed for each week that we are going to meet on the Wednesday night, okay? If there are any additional videos that I need to create to answer questions, because I love getting your questions and I love putting those in Q&A videos so that you guys can all see them and get those answers, then those will come out between those weeks, and a notification will go out through the website. So if you're not subscribed to the website, which costs you nothing to subscribe, I recommend doing that, because then you're going to get all the notifications of any additional videos that come out. Now, if you're subscribed here at YouTube, and we hope you are amongst our 500,000 friends and followers that we adore, because we're only that large of a group because of all of you, then if you're subscribed and you have your notification bell set to all, when those videos go live then and are published, then you'll get that notification of the video as well. But if you subscribe over at the website, you get notifications of videos, you get notifications of the blog and other things that I only send out through the website. Okay. Alrighty. So this is kind of a bad digital version in that my colors aren't really crisp because my printer started losing color, but this is going to be our quilt for this year. This is just a general color layout. Okay. It is our Quilt Lab 2024 year-end quilt. And so the first thing let's do is talk about the 5 blocks that we're going to be using. And the first one is going to be our flower basket block. Now, again, we're using the 10 by 10 versions of all the blocks. All right. So this is our flower basket block. That's one block. This is our inside out block. That is another block. And the pattern tells you how many will be made, that kind of information. The third block is our points home block. I love this. This is one of my absolute favorites from the whole year. The fourth one is our blooming star block. And then the fifth one is our diamond in a cross block. Now, this one did not come in a 10 by 10 version. However, if you are a Quilt Lab subscriber, that 10 by 10 version was a bonus to you, and it was sent out to you and is in the members only area. If you are buying the full pattern with the digital files, you will receive this in the 10 by 10 version. Okay. So everybody's going to have what they need, but this is the diamond in a cross block. So those are the 5 blocks that we're going to be making to create this year's Quilt Along quilt. So now I want to talk to you about briefly something that you can already download over at the website, which is www.mybuildaquilt.com, and you can subscribe. Down at the bottom there's like subscribe to the thing. Just put in your email, you're subscribed, and then you get all those notifications of things that get sent out to everyone through the website. But www.mybuildaquilt.com is our website. So over at the website right now, as we speak, is this packet. It's called the Fabric Quantity Sheet for the Year-End Quilt Along 2024. Wow. What a name, right? I have not named this quilt. I'll be honest. I always name my quilts. I have not named this one for this year. I don't know why, except nothing's really settling with me. So maybe if you have an idea for a name for our year-end quilt along, pop those names in the comments and I'll see them. And maybe that will give me a bit of a inspiration to name this quilt finally. Otherwise, it's just going to be the 2024 Quilt Along quilt. I don't know why. I just can't settle with a name yet. So maybe you can help me out there. I would appreciate it. But over in the website is this packet, and it is just what it says. It is only the fabric quantity sheets for the 2 color collections. Okay. Now, I will tell you this, that if you don't want to use either of these collections, that's of course okay. You could do this quilt completely scrappy by doing the 5 different stars or the 5 different blocks in different fabrics. It would be beautiful that way, not a problem. If you do it all scrappy, you might not see like this diamond pattern working its way out quite as much, but you'll still see lots of beautiful fabrics. Or you could do like the 4 here in one set of colors, the 5 of them here in a set of colors, and that sort of thing. So if you don't want to use these fabrics, you don't have to. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go over the first fabric collection, because it is the one that I'm going to be making the sample in. Okay. So on the sheets, and this information will also come in both of the pattern packets, whether you're a Quilt Lab subscriber or you're buying the full pattern, it will come in both. Just in case you lose this, you will always have that information in your full pattern set. But I put this out a little bit early because I know some of you want to go ahead and purchase your fabric or start gathering your fabrics from your own stash so that you're ready by the 13th, okay? And like I said, once I get the patterns put out, either Saturday, which is tomorrow morning, the 26th, or Sunday, one of those 2 days, the patterns will come out. It just depends on how much time. I have a meeting this afternoon, a couple meetings this afternoon that I have to be in. So I might not be able to finish it today. All I have to do is post it and write up the posting stuff, but that takes me a little bit of time. And I don't know if I have that by the time I need to be home and making dinner tonight. I'm just trying to be honest and transparent with y'all. But that I will guarantee will come out Saturday and no later than Sunday. Okay. Because it's just that close. I thought I was going to publish it yesterday, but then I realized I had left something out and I had to go back in and kind of redo it a little bit and fix it. And so then I said, all right, well, I'm not going to rush. My husband had come home, that kind of thing. So I wasn't going to rush through it. I wanted to get it right for you guys. So the first fabric collection, or on both of the fabric sheets, you will notice you have little color squares. Now, those look blue. On yours, they will look more aqua. This was a printer color problem on my copy. You can always print these out, look at them on your tablets or your iPads or on your full computer, however you like to look at your instructions, okay? And that will be the same way for the pattern instructions themselves and for the pattern instructions for all the blocks. So when you download your pattern, when you go to each block in the digital file section, each one of those has the full written pattern for those blocks, the coloring sheets, the layout information, the fabric, all of that is in there for each one of those. That's why you don't see it in the packet of the regular instructions for the quilt, because they're in with the blocks that they belong with. And each one of these blocks has a how-to video that goes with it. And you'll see a link there for that, okay? Alrighty, so each one of these are numbered 1 through 6. And that is how they will be numbered in the pattern, okay? So if you are not going to use these fabrics and you're going to pull from your stash, sit down with a copy of one of these and right next to it, write down the name or the color or the print or whatever indicates to you what that fabric is next to these and number them 1 through 6. Okay. So that you know when you're making your blocks, what fabric goes where. Okay. All right, so let's start. So number one, the fabric number one for both of these collections and for a collection that you do on your own is from Kimberbell. It's a silky solid and it's called Royal Icing. Okay, Royal Icing. It is not pure white. It is not cream. It is what I like to call candlelight. It's that very soft. If you go into a church for an evening wedding or any venue for an evening wedding and it's all lit up with candles and there's just that beautiful soft glow, that's what this color is. Okay, so for those of you that don't like white, refrigerator white, that's not this. Okay, it's not that white, but it's not cream either. It doesn't have a yellow tone to it. So Royal Icing from Kimberbell, that's number one, regardless of the collections. If you're doing your own setup of your own fabrics, choose something similar to this Royal Icing color. You'll like it better probably. Alrighty. Now, color number two for this first collection. I thought for sure I had it right here with me. Hang on just 1 second. Okay, so color number two for collection one is this. It is in general, because you'll see on the paper, I give you a general color and then I give you the fabric information. So this is generally considered a light aqua color. Okay, that's what I consider this one. I'm sorry if my color is getting weird. The light in here is doing something weird and it's turning kind of pink on me. I hope that's not happening for you guys. Light aqua. It is called Kimberbell Basics Aqua Tufted Star. And I love that tufted star. This is literally one of my favorite fabrics that they've ever done. I just think it's beautiful. I love it in all the colors too. Aqua Tufted Star. Fabric number two. Now this gets a little hinky, so stay with me here. This is this is considered a medium aqua. So a medium aqua, and it is Kimberbell Basics wide back. So it's 108 inches wide, and that will be important with how much you purchase. And it's called Aqua Small Dots. Okay, so light, this is the medium. Okay, now when you purchase color number one or for color number one, you will need 1.5 yards. Pretty simple. Color number two, 1/2 yard. Color number three, this is probably the most used fabric, is also 1/2 yard if you buy this 108-inch width. I could not find a polka dot that I liked in the Kimberbell collection like this that was a regular width. So I had to buy wide back. 1/2 yard of the wide back will do you just fine. If you decide not to use wide back, then buy yourself 1.5 yards of whatever else in a normal width of fabric, okay? So 1/2 yard of the wide back or 1.5 yards in whatever regular width fabric you choose to use, okay? Fabric number four is a dark aqua. And this is a Kimberbell silky solid called Caribbean Sea. Caribbean Sea. So this quilt is based on these three aquas, light, medium, and dark. Okay. Then color number five should be a buttery yellow, not bright, not sunshiny, not like that harvesty gold, but a very buttery yellow. And for this one is Kimberbell's Basics Yellow Swirl Floral. If you just say yellow swirl, you're going to get that one. That could be a good replacement. I love that fabric. But you want the yellow swirl floral. And you need, for number five, you need 1 yard. Okay. And then number six should be a red, but kind of a tomatoey red, kind of a creamy red. You know when you put milk in tomato soup and it gets that creamy red color? That's the red color you're looking for. And this again is the tufted star pattern for Kimberbell Basics. It's Kimberbell's Wake Yourself at or Make Yourself at Home red tufted star. And because this isn't all one color, it's the tufting, the lighter tufting that gives it that creamy color. I adore this. This turned out so beautifully in a previous block. In fact, one of the blocks I showed you has the, oh no, that's not the tufted star. It's the Aqua tufted star, but it's a different red. I have another block that has the tufted red in it. It's just really gorgeous. So, and for number 6, you need 1.5 yards. Okay. So in total, you're needing about 5.5 yards of fabric for the top of this quilt. Okay. And that you will have plenty. I've given you slightly more than what is actually required, because if you're like me, you're going to goof at some point and need to recut something. I want you to have the fabric there. I don't want you to have run out. You're not going to have heaps and loads and yards of leftover, but you will have a little bit of leftover, some less than others, but I wanted to make sure that you had enough. Okay. So that is color collection 1. That's the Aqua collection. Color collection 2 is based solely on Kimberbell's Silky Solids. Now, Kimberbell, you noticed in this one, except for the Caribbean Sea and the Royal Icing, this was all small prints that at a distance can read solid, but they're definitely prints. And I think these little prints really give a quilt movement and texture to them. So I love them. That's what I love when I'm quilting more than I love using a regular solid. However, I know some of you love solids, and I know some of you want to do something that's more in a colorway representative of the fall and the winter. Cool, because this first one is very obviously more spring summerish. I get that. Doesn't matter to me. I just love those colors. But for those of you that wanted more that fall, winter, warmer, deeper colors, that's what this second collection is. And it's all solids. And I've chosen Kimberbell's Silky Solids because I truly think they're some of the best solids on the market. They're beautiful fabrics, truly beautiful to work with. So fabric number 1, once again, Royal Icing. Again, same amounts as I gave you before. It's all in here, so I won't repeat it again. Royal Icing is number 1. Number 2 is called Lilac-alicious. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but it's this. It's your lightest. This would be the version in this lilac of the lightest Aqua. This is color number 2. Color number 3 is kind of a medium plum color, and it is a silky solid called Fairy Tale Plum. Beautiful. So that's your medium. That's your light. Okay. Color number 4 is a darker plum color, and it's a silky solid called Wild Plum. Beautiful, just gorgeous. So here, this collection is based on these 3 plummy colors versus the aquas in the other. And as I said, they are all solids. So those are the 3 main colors in this version of the quilt. And then number 5 is a golden color, and this is the silky solid called Golden Hour. It almost looks a little bit green on the screen. It is not. When you see it with your own eye, it's a very golden color. It's called Golden Hour. That's number 5. That takes the place of the buttery yellow in that first collection. And then now I did not choose another reddish color for color number 6. So color number 6 in the first collection is this beautiful tomatoey red. Not even close. I've chosen the silky solid. It's a mid-gray, and this is called Silver Moon. Silver Moon. It's gorgeous. It's not those muddy grays. It's got a little blue in it. It's really beautiful. Now I'm going to hold all of these up for you so you can see this whole collection together. because I think it's truly beautiful. Now, I've said I'm not making the whole quilt out of these. I am making my whole quilt out of the first collection. However, I will be making a smaller wall hanging of part of the quilt in these so you can see how they come together. Isn't it gorgeous? Just a beautiful collection. Now, I should tell you something else. These colors can be purchased in yardage. That's how I would suggest. But they also have a fat quarter collection called Reverie. And that collection has all of these in them and about 3 or 4 other beautiful kind of autumny colors. But so if you got the fat quarters, you would need to buy 6 fat. Let's see. What did I say? Yes, I believe you'd need 6 fat quarters to get enough fabric of these colors to make it. So not as cost effective. So let me say this now, because those are all of the colors. I recommend that you buy the yardage listed in this fabric sheet. However, Wednesday night workshop, folks were asking, can I do this from fat quarters? And the answer is yes. And someone else asked, can I do this from a 10 by 10 layer cake stacker? The answer again is yes. But each one of those would be slightly done differently. You would have to buy a certain amount of fat quarters to get these right. So in the next 2 video clips here, there will be, one is how you would do it if you're going to use fat quarters. And the second one is how you would do it if you want to use a layer cake. Now, I will tell you, buying the yardage is my number 1 recommendation. Fat quarters would be my number 2 recommendation. And number 3 would be those stackers, because the stackers, you're going to have to do a little bit more planning. And I kind of go over that a bit with you in this video clip. And because you're going to have to choose different colors. It's not all going to be exactly the same, but we talk about that a little bit. It can be done and it will be beautiful. So if you're someone who just loves layer cakes and you've got a bunch of them, you could do it that way. But that would be my 3rd recommendation, okay? Now, I know some of you have smaller areas where you do your cutting. Not everybody has a big table or a definite cutting table set up. That's okay. So I know some of you, to cut full yardage is a little difficult. And that's why I think some of you were asking about, could you do it with fat quarters? Because you have the space for that. You certainly can. Okay. And so that's what this next little video clip is going to show you, is what to do with your fat quarters, how to set those up and stuff. Alrighty, everybody, that should help you start to prep for the Quilt Along. I'm so excited to do it with you guys. I've received, since Wednesday night, I received over 200 emails about, can I do this? When will it be out? When will the pattern be out? When are we starting? I know you guys are excited, and so am I. So that's great to know. And I look forward to seeing you either on Wednesday nights, or remember, if you can't be there on a Wednesday night because you have other obligations or other things that you do on Wednesday night, or it's family night, or it's, you know what, I'm feeling like death warmed over today, I just can't sit up and watch a video or a live event, that's okay, because you can always catch the replay. The replay will always remain out here. It will be a live that you just go in under the live tab here on the channel, and just, you'll find the Wednesday, and it will say on there, Quilt Lab week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So that will be our, how we are going to do it. Like I said, if there are Q&As, I will probably do a Q&A video in between so that everybody gets answered. I'm afraid if I do the Q&A live, it would take too much time because people start asking more questions. So this is what I want you to do during the Quilt Along. If you have specific questions on the Wednesday night that we are live, put them in the comments and I'll write them down and I'll put them in a Q&A video. Or you can always contact me by an email at support@sewincommon.com and just put in the heading Quilt Along question. Okay. And if it's not something specifically just for you regarding, you know, I did this and I goofed, can you help me fix that kind of thing? I will put those questions in the Q&A, and I'll do a Q&A before the next Wednesday. So all the questions that come in will be answered before the next week. Okay. Alrighty. I hope that's helpful to everybody. Here comes those 2 little videos, and then it'll stop because there will be an ending, and I will have attached this last Wednesday's Wednesday workshop, so you can catch that replay, because one, we went over this, plus we talked about a new block this month that I've put out for breast cancer awareness. So go ahead and finish watching through here, catch that replay, and I will see you guys Wednesday for our regular Wednesday workshop. This coming Wednesday is not the 13th, so we won't be starting the Quilt Along yet. It'll be our regular Wednesday workshop, and we'll have some fun together then. I look forward to seeing you. And until next time, everybody, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe and share these videos with others. That's how this group has grown to be over 500,000 subscribers strong. And that just blows me away every time I say it. I got a little teary-eyed the other night about it all over again, because it just hits me. I've got over 500,000 quilting friends. I love it. So please subscribe, like, and share. We'd love to have you as part of the Build a Quilt community. And I know a lot of you are getting to be friends together. I think that's what the community is about, right? So again, if you need to contact me, support@sewincommon.com. The website again is www.mybuildaquilt.com. You can get your free copy of the fabric quantity sheet now, and the patterns will be out on the website, either for the subscribers in their members area or in the regular shop for anybody needing the full pattern with digital files, no later than Sunday, but I'm thinking probably earlier than that. You'll just have to see. I'll announce it through the website if that's the case, okay, if I put it out earlier. Otherwise, just check back on Sunday. All right, everybody, until next time, as always, have a great weekend and go quilt life beautiful. See you next week. Bye for now.
Okay, everybody, in this portion of the video, I'm going to show you how I would do this with 10 by 10 layer cake stackers. Okay, so I just pulled a layer cake that I have called Hello Spring from Riley Break. It was brand new, so I've opened it up. Now, with each layer cake, you are getting roughly 1 yard of fabric. So all of these squares equal roughly 1 yard. You are going to need 5.5 yards of fabric for the quilt top. So you would need 6 layer cakes to make this quilt top. I think that will probably end up costing you more in the long run, but if that's what you wish to do, that's perfectly fine. If that's what you already have available, perfect. Alrighty, so first thing I want to show you is on the back of most layer cakes, not all, but most, they will give you tiny swatches of all the colors so that you can see them, or all the fabrics. So I know there's 1, 2, 3 here that I would consider my dark color, 1, 2, 3 that I would consider a medium color, 1, 2, 3 that I would consider a light. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 yellows that would work, and I've got 1, 2. I've got 2 that would be green, or 1, 2, 3 that could be that 6th color. So I could probably, on this one, I'd use these 3 aquas because there's only 2 in the green family. That's kind of how I would probably do that. And what I would do is I would take the color and I would write it down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and right next to it, I would give each piece a name. So I might say light purple 1, light purple 2, light purple 3, and I would write the numbers right on here. So this is light 1, light 2, light 3, and these would all be number 1s. on my yellow. I think yellows are number 5 on the list. So I do yellow 1, yellow 2, yellow 3, and yellow 4. So there could be, I would probably drop that yellow because it is a check, and I'd use the 3 smaller prints. So I do yellow 1, yellow 2, yellow 3, and they're all number 5s. I would kind of do that kind of a thing so I knew I was getting my fabrics in the right spot. Now here is the stacker. Beautiful fabrics. And then what I would do is I would start breaking these out into, so typically you have a couple pieces that are the same right together. I would lay those out. Then I would lay the next ones out. And these are also in that teal family or that aqua family. So I would lay those on there. And this is the third aqua one. They just happen to all 3 be at the top. And I do that. And then I would do that with each stack. Now here I would start with my purples, my light purples, and I would work into my darker purples, and then I would work into my yellows, and then I'm not going to do the greens, but they have some pinks in here too. They have 3 pinks. So instead of that aqua, if you wanted to stay with more in that red tone, you could do the pinks. But whatever they come with in your stacker, because you're obviously probably not going to use this stacker. Here are my whites that I would use as my lightest purple color because they have those purple colors in them and a little bit of every color. And so I'd lay them all out in a stack as I had planned them on this sheet. And then I would do that with all 5 or 6 of your layer cake stackers. And then I would press and I would lay them, I would just pile them all up. And when the pattern comes out, I would start cutting according to the colors that you're going to use. So there will be some in each stack that you might not decide to use. But if you run out and you don't have enough of each color that you've chosen, you will have these extras. You'll have, like in this one, I would have the pinks and the greens, so I could figure out how to manipulate that into my quilt. Now, when I do my sample quilt, the company, when I ordered my yellow fabric, sent me 2 yellows, and I didn't realize it until after I had cut everything out. So I am going to have to plan when I lay this out how to use both colors or both fabrics to make it look like an intentional thing rather than a mistake. And I will do that, and I will tape that for you so that that gives you an idea of kind of how to lay those out when you have to switch your colors because you don't have enough of one particular one. It's going to be a bit more of a challenge to use this 10 by 10 layer cake, but you can do it. You're going to end up with an absolutely beautiful quilt. If this is keeping you from doing the quilt, don't let it. You can do it. But if you haven't made up your mind yet, I would say this would be my 3rd choice for fabric. I would prefer myself and recommend for you to either do the fat quarters or to do regular yardage. And I understand some of you have smaller areas. It's hard to cut yardage. In that case, I would go with your fat quarters before I'd go with a stacker. All right, I hope that helps. Now we'll go over and finish up. Hi, everybody. Okay, so this is my tip for those of you who want to do fat quarters. You either have fat quarters or you want to buy fat quarters for doing the year-end quilt. It's not a problem at all. As you can see here, for that collection number 2, I had fat quarters. That's how I actually ordered them. And so I pulled them all apart because there's actually other colors that went in that collection. So I pulled out only the colors I'm using for the quilt. And you can see here's a bunch of them. And then here are the first 2. And what I suggest you do is you pull them apart and then you lay them out lightest to darkest. So this is color number 1, the icing color. This was color number 2. The next one that I will lay down, all of them that I have, is this color number 3. all the way through color number 6. Then I will know, do I have that half yard, that yard and a half, whatever the instructions tell you you need to have. Do you have enough of each of those in the total yardage? And if you do, then it will be fine. You don't need to worry that you're cutting it from the fat quarters. You will have enough. But I would lay these all out like this, and then I would press them, and then I'd like lay them over the back of a chair or something to keep them from getting re-wrinkled. Or if you're to that point when you get the pattern, then just start cutting from the pattern for the colors and prepping your pieces. So the next part of the video, I'm going to show you what I would do if I were using the 10 by 10 layer cake stackers, because that was another question.